So, good morning, Rachel, and thank you so much for agreeing to be our Who's in the Room speaker today. You've obviously just given everybody in the room a quick introduction about your business, but for those of us that are joining us on video, would you like to just repeat what you said earlier?
Oh, well, I won't repeat everything again, but I will say that I'm the owner of Smart Office Support, and we provide remote office admin services, personal assistant, executive assistant, small project management, and some social media.
Fantastic, Rachel. So obviously you're there providing lots of different things. What problems are you solving for your clients?
Right. So I think one of them I sort of alluded to just now about being somebody's out of office. So we often pick up emails when people are away on holiday. So you've got a business owner, they're up to the rise Monday to Friday, usually working evenings and weekends, and they want to take a break. So in order for them to be able to do that, they need to know that they've got a safe pair of hands to put their emails or any actions that are needed while they're away. So that's where we come in. So we helped solve the problem there so that they can take a nice, well-earned holiday and completely switch off. We're also there for the business owner who, so I'm going to talk about, say, the county business shows. So the South Gloucester Business Show coming up. Sometimes they want to attend something like this, but actually having the time and the knowledge and that to actually get everything ready for it, they just need the extra pair of hands. So somebody who can do the booking, can run around, make sure they've got all the leaflets, all the brochures and everything they need. So it's just an extra pair of hands when somebody wants a small project to be done. And like I say, this doesn't even need to be a small project. I mean, at the moment, I'm actually helping my local town council build a skate park. So, I mean, that's not exactly a small project, but the small projects would be the extra pair of hands that can help them to do that something that they just haven't got round to do or they'd like to do. And then the main one for us is that just because you're a business owner doesn't mean that they're actually very good at their admin. They're there because there's something they do well. So Vicky, you are brilliant at what you do. That I know because I'm obviously speaking to people. Admin, I'm not so sure. No, you are one of those who can do both. But there'll come a time when your actual business is more important than doing the admin itself. So actually having somebody like a virtual remote support means that you can just concentrate on delivering what you need to do. And then we'll do all those bits that A, you're not good at, B, you don't like doing, and we love it. So yes.
And it's so important actually when you're in a small business to get to a point where you can outsource the stuff you don't like, because the other person will do it so much better than you will, because you're sitting there really resenting doing it and they're having an absolute whale of a time doing it. So
absolutely.
What are the sort of results, benefits and improvements that your clients experience from working with you?
Well, I think it all comes down to who you're working with. So everybody is different. So there are lots and lots of virtual support out there, and they will do various things. Some of them will focus on things like bookkeeping. Some people will focus on other things, specifically social media. But I think the one thing is that it's finding the right person so that you have a trusted pair of hands that you can rely on. So the benefit there is knowing that they're part of your business. You can contact them and say, it's all just gone and hit the fan. I really need some help. The person knows you, knows what's happening, and can come in and help you. Now that can work for people who will use us for maybe a couple of hours a month, and that's fine from what I provide. I know that not all virtual support will do that. They prefer them to have a certain bank of hours, but I'm happy with ad hoc work. But you get to know people. So it's having that person you can turn to and rely on. That will then obviously give them more time to grow their business. So a benefit then is knowing again that that's being done. The invoices are being raised, the invoices are being chased, the emails are going out, people are being responded to. Then you can just concentrate on delivering what it is that you deliver. That is actually bringing in the money. Doing your admin is a cost to you, and you can't be doing your forward thinking or your planning or strategic planning while you're busy doing your admin. So it's being able to actually concentrate more on what you do. And normally, because we are better at admin, it gets turned around faster. And it will happen. So we are concentrating solely on that. So I mean, the word is, it happens. rather than, okay, well, I'll put that off. I have actually taken on a couple of clients recently because of that. They've got a whole stack of stuff, and we're ploughing through it with some associates that I've got working with me, because we're just trying to get them up to date. They're so behind on getting invoices out. They're not being paid if the invoices aren't going out. They're wanting some chasing up of some other invoices. Again, if they're not getting paid, they're not getting paid if they're not being chased. So it's all got too much. So they've just thrown a whole load of stuff at us so that we can help sort them out.
Fantastic. So it's a really busy market out there for virtual assistants and that sort of thing. What makes you different to everybody else that's out there?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's me, because it's me that you're buying into. It's me that you're working. Even if you work with one of my associates, I front end and I'm the one that you will be dealing with. You kick me, I kick them, but actually that shouldn't happen. So what you're doing is you're buying into me. Reason for that is that I've come from the corporate environment. I've done project management, I ran service desk, executive assistant, PAs, you name it out there. I've done it in the big world. And one thing when I chose to go remote was bringing all that knowledge and experience to help a small business owner who can't afford to have all those different people. So what you've got is somebody with a lot of experience that can be utilized to help them on that. What else have I put down on there? Yeah, I think that was mainly it. So, I mean, I bring a lot of the experience from the corporate world, where some people have come from, I think what's happened in the lockdown, I'm going to be open there, is that some people have thought this is easy. I can do admin. I can answer people's emails. So they've set up as a virtual assistant, but they don't have the background behind it in order to bring that experience to deal with a problem that might occur. So having all that world experience in the corporate world, and then making it smaller and providing it to a small business owner.
Brilliant. Rachel, thank you really so much for insight into your business. And if anybody in the room or listening into this wants to get in touch with Rachel, she is a wizard at what she does. So thank you very much, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move over to hear from Mark Moore of the Cyber Resilience Centre, who's going to give us an insight into what they do at the Cyber Resilience Centre, but also various different questions that Mark has submitted to me so that we can explore more about how he can help all of us in the room and anyone else that we might know. So Mark, thank you very much.
Good to see you.
And you too. So for those of people joining us on video, Mark, if you'd just like to do a brief introduction to yourself again.
Yeah, of course. So I'm an oddity. I'm a serving police officer. Don't worry, nobody's in trouble. But I'm actually paid by policing to run a business full time. And the business is a Cyber Resilience Centre, which is essentially here to fill that gap for small businesses who struggle to access support in cyber because it can be expensive, complicated, bewildering, difficult, all those things. We like to think we're a kind of trusted badge that can lead people through that early journey because, of course, cyber is one of the huge threats for small businesses at the moment. So that's me, and that's what I'm about.
Fantastic, Mark. So talking about small businesses, why would anyone bother with a cyber attack on a small business?
Yes, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because the headlines are always about big businesses and Russian spies, but I bet virtually no one listening doesn't know somebody who's actually been attacked, scammed in some sort of way online. I like to equate stuff to the physical world. I suppose the question is, why would anybody burgle my house, steal my car? But we know that's a thing. And if you kind of imagine burglary, but in this instance, as you walk down the street, above every single house, you've got a sign saying up how much money is inside. We probably wouldn't do that, and yet all of us file our accounts at Companies House, which are public record, so we can see how much money we've got. So there's the kind of targeted approach. More often for small businesses, it's a different parallel. It's the case where the criminal's walking down the street, but they have a key that fits one door in 10. So they'll just try them. And that's kind of what cyber often looks like. There are lots of common vulnerabilities out there. And by sending an email, by trying to probe systems, it's always easy to get into a percentage of businesses that don't make the headlines but do call people like us, because actually they've been broken into and they're losing money as a result.
So if you were to share some of your wisdom with us, what are the most important things that we can do to be safer?
Yeah, cyber feels really intimidating. There's lots of expert stuff that you can helpfully do as you get bigger. But the good news is, do you know what? It's really simple stuff that makes a big difference. And I guess the kind of holy trinity is around passwords. Most of us use the same ones across different sites. And that means if one is breached, you're insecure everywhere. So use different passwords. And if you don't know how to do that without sending your brain around in circles, look at what your browser will do. If you right-click in a field, it will often suggest a strong password for you. Use that one. You'll never remember it, but your computer will, or you can use a solution called a password manager. So first thing is passwords. Please don't be using your pet's name across 23 different sites, as people do. The second thing for me would be something called two-factor or multi-factor authentication. If you go into your settings on certainly all of your really important social media accounts, you can turn that on, and what it'll do is it means that generally, not just do I need my password to get into something, but I will input a quick 6-digit code from my phone. And that means if somebody does find out my password, they still can't break into my accounts, which can be crucial if you are a small business that's heavily social media reliant. So think about that and make sure that people who do your marketing have got it turned on as well. Two-factor authentication. The last thing for me would be around updating your systems. So if you're operating off Windows 83 and a half, I don't know, that's the thing, you just be more current. Do you know what? You invest in your business in so many different ways. If you've got old products, old IT, or you're not clicking those update now buttons, then you are leaving your digital front door wide open, because updates are generally about trying to seal up or patch known insecurities. And if you've not done that, then you're vulnerable. So every day you're running more of the risk. So 3 things: passwords, two-factor authentication, and updates, and you will be immeasurably safer without getting into really complicated stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So in your experience, what does a cyber attack look like for a small business?
Yeah, so do you know, a lot of the stuff is really simple. We get a lot of calls from people who say, I've had my Facebook account breached because passwords, they didn't turn on two-factor authentication, and suddenly they can't talk to their clients because they essentially use it as a website. So that's really, really frequent. The other thing for small businesses is quite often ransomware, where they've downloaded something onto their system by clicking in the wrong place. And what happens then is that either their system is frozen and someone says, pay us money to unlock your data, or potentially somebody gets inside of their system and nobody knows. Because actually what they're interested in is things like your client list or your IP, your product details. So it can take a variety of forms, but generally those routes in through the door are pretty similar. What we do know from government statistics is that on average, it will cost a small business that's breached something like £4,500. So, do you know what? If you've got that washing around the bank spare, great. If not, spend 10 minutes just doing some really simple things, and it makes a big old difference.
So obviously the world of cyber and cyber attacks evolves very fast. And the bad guys like to be one step ahead. What's changed in the last few years?
Yeah, do you know what? I think if we wound back kind of 5-10 years and all had to go and paint the picture of cybercrime, we'd probably think that an elderly person who maybe hadn't been very switched on to the way things work, clicked in the wrong place perhaps on a email from somebody in, I'm on holiday in Nigeria, I have a medical emergency, that sort of thing. The message I want to sell is it's not that now. It's really professional. We've all pitched this morning about our businesses. This is a business model now. So I can go online and I can find somebody that will give me, let's make up a Lloyds Bank login page. I can buy a list of compromised passwords. So I can get into you, I can send you a personal email, it will take you to a login page. Somebody will create an English email for me because I can advertise for a specialist English speaker that can sound convincing in business parlance. All those things are doable in what's essentially a franchise model now. So great business success story, the democratization of crime. But actually what that means is that there are genuine experts who as a profession try to fool people like you and me. So you don't need to be naive, and falling victim to cybercrime is not about failing or being daft. And I think it's that switch in mindset that's really, really important. The scale and the credibility of cybercrime has vastly ramped up. So knowing actually where to click, what the current scams are, what to look out for, and how to put those basic safeguards in place is really, really important.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And yes, I think knowing that we are all vulnerable to it is the first step to being a little bit safer. So what exactly is a cyber resilience centre, and how is it different from, for example, what a normal IT business would be doing?
Yeah, I think we complement normal IT businesses really well. So we've heard from one or two on the call this morning already. The difference, what's unique about me and us, is that my salary is already paid. So I don't need to make anything for my clients. And in fact, I'm fiercely protective of that as a business model, because if I need to make money from you for the simple things, I feel a bit like everybody else. So what do? I try and persuade people to sign up for membership of our centre on our website, which is www.swcrc.co.uk. And if they sign up there for free, I'll give them a number of things. The first thing I'll do is I'll send them a basic curated pack of the National Cyber Security Centre's guidance on being safe. That's a government agency that looks after it, and generally in the small business community. No one's heard of them. Why would they? There's so many government agencies. And more than that, over the first 12 weeks, we'll send you a simple series of one-page emails. I promise you they're a page. You can read them over your coffee break, and every week just do a couple of things. So by the end of it will mean you are way safer than you would have been at the outset. We will contact you, we'll check in if you need help or support, we'll provide that. And every month from now until the world implodes in a ball of dust, we will send you an email that explains in plain English terms, these are what this month's scams and risks look like. Click here, don't click there, look out for this thing. And no one else is doing that for you in that plain English way, because I have to do it plain English, I have to translate. I am not by nature a cyber geek. And beyond that, we've got some really interesting stuff, I think, for businesses that need it more, because we try and support all the way through. So if you're really website dependent, for example, you'd like to know if you're secure, I've got an awesome team of ethical hacking students from around the region that I can bring in to look at your system. They can try and break in James Bond style. They can look at your business continuity plans. They can research you online and find out lots of things about you, so you understand the risk and how people might compromise you. And as I like to say, that they will do that for small businesses and charities who I also look after on essentially a student beer money plus rates. So they will not be at commercial things. This is not about making money from people. It's about letting you access a service that otherwise might well have been too expensive. And the last thing that we do, if heaven forbid, you wake up one morning, the screens have gone black and there's a large flashing red skull and crossbones in the middle, we can provide you with the right kind of signpost to somebody regionally that knows what they're doing. So we have a trusted partner scheme, not one that relies on kickbacks so they don't get money from it, but I will point you towards somebody who is credible, who's got nationally recognised accreditations and who knows what they're about in the world of cybersecurity, because probably in a largely unregulated landscape, what you don't want is to be Google searching and just throwing yourself on the mercy of the first person that you find. So lots of supported DIY for free if you join up on the website. Student services if you want something more bespoke and complex, and finding that full commercial piece if you need it. Well, we'll try and signpost you. So that's what we do, Vicky, in as short a smaller nutshell as I think I can manage.
Brilliant and absolutely amazing service. So if you'd just like to repeat the website again for those people that are listening to the replay of this video, in case they want to join up to your membership, Mark.
Yeah, of course. So it's www.swcrc.co.uk, which is behind me. And if you can't remember the bad Scrabble hand that sounds like, of course you will remember it's the initials for the Southwest Cyber Resilience Centre. And we're part of a national network. So if anybody's listening that's out of area, come via us by all means, and we'll direct you to the local centre that covers you. We cover Dorset, Wiltshire, Gloucestershire, and all points towards the pointy end of Cornwall, which is south and west of there.
Brilliant. Mark, thank you so much for joining us this morning out of your very busy day, and look forward to lots of people signing up to your service.
Thanks for having me. Great to talk.